Hi everyone, this is Envy from envytheinsane.com. I'm on my monk, finishing up my quest to solo Glory of the Ulduar Raider 10-man. I've released videos so far for all the other bosses, and now I'm just finishing up the raid by going into the Descent into Madness and killing General Vezax and Yogg-Saron on hard mode. Alright, let's get started. For General Vezax, the achievement that I need is I love the smell of Serenite in the morning, which is to defeat him after spawning and defeating the Serenite Animus. So the Animus will spawn if all of the Serenite vapors are allowed to coalesce into the Animus. So throughout the fight, little vapors will spawn. They're like these little green gas clouds, and they kind of just float around the room throughout the fight. If all of them are allowed to spawn, which I believe is 8, because they spawn every 30 seconds, and after 4 minutes the Animus will come out if none of them have been killed. So after 8 of them have spawned and are still alive and floating around the room, they will coalesce and form the Animus, which is kind of like this giant, large water elemental type of looking thing. So that will come out. At that point, General Vezax will have a shield protected around himself. You can't attack him, and you pretty much have to kill the Animus. So this achievement shouldn't be too hard. It's actually kind of one of those standing around and waiting annoying achievements. So the only thing about this fight that's really worth mentioning is General Vezax has an ability called Searing Flames. Searing Flames will reduce your armor by 75%, and he casts it about every 7 or 8 seconds. So when I was soloing this on my rogue, I had quite a difficulty with it, just because 7 or 8 second cast timer, I could only interrupt every other cast. So the one that I couldn't interrupt had to be mitigated somehow. As a monk, I'm hoping that I can just heal myself through it and it won't be too big of a deal, but I'm still going to be trying to interrupt as often as I can, because armor reduced by 75%, he can start to hit you really hard and kill you really quickly. So, and while he does have his little protected shield on him while the Animus is out, he is still interruptible for the Searing Flame. So continue to cast it, but you can still interrupt it. So I'm going to probably set him to my focus, and I can see when he's casting, and then I'll be able to switch back to him off the Animus and interrupt him real quick if need be. Okay, so he doesn't really do a whole lot of other stuff. There's these little Shadow Crash abilities that he'll kind of fire out at random raid members that will, land on top of you or land on top of a player and hit you for a certain amount of damage. It really isn't significant at level 90. The only reason you might avoid that is for the other achievement that you can get off of him, Shadow Dodger. So if everybody manages to avoid those, then you'll get that achievement. I don't think he casts these at people in melee range, so maybe I'll just automatically get this achievement. I'm not sure. We'll have to find out. But that's the only other achievement that you can get off of Vezax. So, very simple fight. If you have a healer or mana users, you'll notice that you don't have any mana regeneration in this fight, and that's kind of what the original purpose of the Serenite Vapors is for. If you kill them and stand in the little puddle that they leave, it will allow you to regenerate some mana. But at level 90, that really shouldn't be a problem for anybody. If you're coming in here, even with just 2 or 3 people, he should be burnt down pretty quickly. That mana should not be an issue. Okay, so I will pull him, and we will get to standing around and waiting for the Animus. Alright, we're in here, grab him. I'm not going to worry too much about DPSing him, because he does heal up while he's got his shield on him when the Animus is out. So, there's Searing Flames. Pretty obvious. Pretty obvious when he's casting it. He's got the, the big red circle kind of floating around him. It's pretty hard to miss, so. He does apparently do Shadow Crash on people in melee range. Kind of just knocking me around with that. See, you can see it doesn't do a whole lot of damage. There's my Searing Flames debuff, though, for armor reduced by 75%. So you can see after that, his melee attacks start to hit a little harder. The thing that kind of stinks is, you know, he'll do the Shadow Crash right before the Searing Flames and knock you back, so you can't interrupt him. And here's one of the Serenite Vapors right here. So just these little green gas clouds that are kind of floating around. They have very little health. And so you should pretty much eliminate all AoE from any of your rotations. Because you can accidentally kill them very easily. And you'll just find out 4 minutes into the fight that, oops, somebody must have killed one. Myself healed up. I'm a little nervous about using Chi Wave because it does bounce and expel harm. But it looks like I need to kind of keep him in the corner here. So let's see, my DBM timer says I've got 50 seconds until the Animus spawns. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vapors floating around. I think that's right. Set him to my focus so that I can see when he's casting while the Animus is out. So you can see it's starting to coalesce now. There we go. So he's got his little shield on, and here is the Animus. Not too hard. He does continue to do all of his abilities though, and the Shadow Crash is going to get kind of annoying. But the Animus is going down pretty quickly. Goodness. I actually haven't seen him cast the Searing Flames at all yet, so maybe they changed it so he doesn't do that anymore while the Animus is up. That's kind of nice. But it's not too bad. He didn't really heal up either. Huh, they must have changed this from the last time I did it. So I no longer need to worry about AoE or anything like that. Just kill him, stay healed. I'm gonna just use all my cooldowns. There we go. Not too difficult. So, yeah, not a whole lot to say about that fight. Very simple. Next up is Yogg-Saron. For Yogg-Saron, the achievement that I need is One Light in the Darkness, which is to defeat him with the assistance of only one of the keepers of Ulduar. So the keepers from the last wing are all standing out in the shattered walkway, basically waiting to help you and add buffs to help you defeat Yogg-Saron. So I'm going to go through quickly what each of the keepers does. Each of them will increase your base damage by 10%, and then from there they each have their own special little abilities that they add. Hodier reduces your damage taken by 20%, and intermittently has the ability to save a player from dying and give them a second chance. Thorum increases your total health by 20% and allows you to kill the Immortal Guardians in Phase 3. I'll talk about that a little bit more later. Freya increases your healing received by 20% and adds sanity wells to the environment. I'll talk about that a little later also. Mimiron increases your movement speed by 20% and causes the Serenite creatures of the fight to have their attack speed reduced by 100% and their casting speed reduced by 300%. Okay, so Yogg-Saron can actually be... This is quite a complicated fight, and I can talk forever trying to explain all of it. I'm going to go into a brief explanation here, and then I'll cover more in the actual video of the fight. Three-phase fight. Phase 1, you have Sarah out here. You need to DPS her down by killing some of the little adds that spawn near her. They explode and deal AoE damage, and it takes 8 of them killed near her to get her to 1% health, and at that point you transition into Phase 2. Phase 2, Yogg-Saron comes out, but he's not attackable. Little tentacles will spawn throughout the room, and Sarah will be like a Valkyrie, kind of floating up in the air. At this point, it's important to realize that you have a buff called Sanity. It starts at 100, and Sarah's casting abilities at you basically to lose your sanity. If you reach 0 sanity, you go insane, become mind-controlled, and you run around start killing other people of your party. Or if everybody in the party is mind-controlled, it's a wipe. So it's just important to make sure that you're always keeping an eye on your sanity and don't lose all your sanity. So for Phase 2, you're basically going to just run around killing the different tentacles, and about a minute into the fight, little portals will spawn around Yogg-Saron that give you access to his mind. Take the portal inside, and you need to kill a bunch of little adds that are in there. They're just like, they're very low HP, just neutral little adds, kind of positioned in different places around a room, basically. You need to just go around and kill them all quickly. I think there's a total of 9. While you're in there, there will be little laughing skulls that if you face them, you reduce, or that reduces your sanity by 2 every second. So you need to do your best to get around the room with your back to all the laughing skulls while killing all the little adds that are in there. After you kill all 9, a room or a door to Yogg-Saron's brain will open up. You can get in there and start to DPS it. The brain will be casting an ability called Induce Madness. If you're inside the room when that goes off, you will immediately lose all your sanity. Your goal is to get the brain down to 30% before the cast finishes. So that should be pretty simple to do with a single DPS. Even me soloing it, I will be only doing 1 visit to the brain room, I can tell you that. You just need to make sure that you get through the initial room and kill all the little adds to open up the door as quickly as possible, so you have as much time as you can to DPS the brain down before the cast goes off. Once you get the brain to 30%, you'll get thrown back out here, and you can start to DPS Yogg-Saron. He'll be at 30% health, and it's pretty much just a burn from there. His only ability really to watch out for is Lunatic Gaze, which is very much like the Laughing Skulls. You just need to turn your back to him for a few seconds while he's doing that so that you're not losing sanity. During this phase, Immortal Guardians will be spawning. If you don't have Thorum's buff, they cannot be killed. You can get them down to 1 HP, but they will not die. So those can start to stack up and really do a lot of damage. They have a life drain ability that if you get about 5 or 6 of them, then they'll really start to hit you pretty hard and kill you pretty quickly. So Phase 3 is pretty much just a burn as quick as possible. So those are the basics of the fight. I'll go into more detail during the actual fight once I get there. Based on just those based on that description, though, I would say that Thorum would be the best guardian to choose if you're going to go with One Light in the Darkness, because he allows you to kill the immortal guardians. I've already put in quite a few attempts on this myself, and the thing that I'm having trouble with is Phase 3. You need to burn him so quickly before the immortal guardians really start to stack up and start to bring you down really fast. So the ability of being able to kill the guardians will let you extend Phase 3 a little bit, and it's not going to be such a stress for time trying to burn down Yogg-Saron before they kill you. A close second, though, would probably be Freya. If you're not having trouble dealing with the damage from the immortal guardians, but you are having trouble with your sanity, Freya's sanity wells allow you to regain sanity by standing in them. They are little like green lights that you would see around the room, and you basically just stand in them and you can regain sanity. So those are the two that I would recommend. I think that Thorum personally is the best to go with, and I'm actually going to be doing this One Light in the Darkness with Thorum so that I can do that. Alright, real quick, let's go over the other achievements that Yogg-Saron offers. So, Alone in the Darkness is if you do the fight without any of the Keeper's assistance. It's definitely possible to solo. There's plenty of videos on YouTube of it. I just am finding it a little bit frustrating. It seems to be dependent on getting some lucky sequence of circumstances. So I decided to go with the One Light in the Darkness for this one, just because I haven't had the best of luck with that. But it's definitely possible. Drive Me Crazy is don't let any of your raid members go insane. I will also be getting that achievement because if I go insane, then it's a wipe, so I definitely need to get that one. He's not getting any older. Defeat Yogg-Saron within 7 minutes. I found that I'm burning him down pretty quickly. I don't think I've gotten very close to the 7-minute mark in all my attempts. With being able to kill the guardians, that might extend the fight a little bit, but I should still be able to get this achievement. In his house, he waits streaming. Experience all 3 versions of Yogg-Saron's mind. So there's 3 different versions of the room that you go into when you click on the portal. These are checked off as soon as you get into the room. It doesn't require that you kill him or that you do it all on the same attempt. It's basically just if you've been there, then it's checked off. So I'm sure that a lot of people will get that in attempts to solo him, just getting practice and going through the different rooms. So I've gotten that one already just on my previous attempts from doing him. Okay, One Light, that's for glory. They're coming out of the walls. Defeat 9 Guardians of Yogg-Saron within 12 seconds. Those are the ads that spawn in Phase 1 that you need to kill near Sarah. You can spawn more of them by running through the gas clouds, like I was saying before. So just get 9 of them and AoE them down. That's pretty simple. And then 2 and 3 Lights in the Darkness, that's just other ones that I'll be getting for doing less than 3 helpers, less than 2 helpers. So there is one other achievement that you can get off of Yogg-Saron that's not listed here, called Kiss and Makeup. And that's basically just to blow Sarah a kiss as she's transitioning from Phase 1 to Phase 2 of the fight. So that's a pretty easy giveaway achievement. Alright, so there's my explanation of the fight. I'm going to go and record it, and then I'll be narrating afterwards and explaining how I did everything, just because it does require a bit of concentration. But I will definitely go into more detail of all the specific things that are important to be aware of as I'm narrating the actual fight itself. Okay? Alright, so for Phase 1 of Yogg-Saron, we just need to spawn a bunch of those little guardians and kill them near Sarah. Basically, Sarah is not attackable with direct damage, but we need to get her down to 1% health. So killing these guardians makes them explode and deal AoE damage, so killing them near her indirectly damages her also. So they do cause AoE damage to you as well, and I think that it used to be pretty difficult to recover from having more than 1 or 2 of these guys out at a time back when this was relevant content. But at level 90, the damage should be pretty much negligible and definitely be able to heal through it if you're in a group or if you've got some decent heals yourself. But it takes 8 of the Guardians killed near Sarah to get her down to the 1% health, and at that point she transitions into phase 2, which I think this one should be the last one here. Yeah, so she's transitioning. So she talks for a second there. After she becomes actually attackable and targetable, that's the time to blow her a kiss for the Kiss and Make Up achievement. So right about now. Alright, so we got these different tentacles. I just got picked up right there by a constrictor tentacle. Those ones, they can be killed by yourself, as you can see, if you're soloing it. You just need some kind of ability that doesn't require a target. Your regular abilities will not work to kill them, but the spinning crane kick works really well, or like Fan of Knives or Arcane Blast. You know, any kind of ability like that that doesn't require a target works really well to get those down. The other tentacles that we have are the Corruptor tentacles. That's like this one right here with the smoky stuff around it. Those ones cast some like poisons and diseases on you that can be pretty annoying. They cause you to become disoriented or stunned for a few seconds, but they can be dispelled. So I was using Detox to get rid of some of those annoying things. And then the last ones are the Crusher tentacles, which are the really large ones. Those don't do a whole lot. They pretty much just do some physical damage if you're near them. They're definitely the lowest on the priority list to kill, and the Corruptor tentacles are definitely on the highest on the priority list. You definitely don't want to have any of those Corruptor tentacles up in phase 3. Okay, so went into the little mind room here, and I'm just AoEing down these little neutral dudes. In this version of the room, they're just positioned around the room, and most of the laughing skulls are in the center. For this, I definitely recommend using a mouse and strafing. I tend to be a keyboard turner, but using a mouse definitely allows you a lot more flexibility with movement and the ability to avoid losing a lot of your sanity to those laughing skulls. Once you kill all those guys, you can come in here and DPS the brain down. You can see it goes down pretty quickly. Definitely doable for 1 DPS to get it down before the cast finishes. So here we are in phase 3. The Immortal Guardians are out. I'm able to kill them because I have Thorum's buff. And I'm kind of just trying to keep my back to Yogg-Saron whenever I think that he's going to do a Lunatic Gaze. You'll see that I do have like a DBM cast timer for when Lunatic Gaze comes off of cooldown, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to do Lunatic Gaze right away. But as soon as it comes off cooldown, I'm pretty much trying to keep my back to him because I don't have Freya's sanity wells. So I'm trying to be very conservative and careful with my sanity, make sure I don't lose it. You can see here, like, it was off cooldown for quite a while there before he actually used it. So, but as soon as it's done, switch back to him, start burning him down. It's really, honestly, it's really quite easy as long as you don't have any of those Corruptor tentacles up. Because, like I was saying, they do put stuff on you that will cause you to become disoriented or stunned. You don't want to lose control of your character in this phase and then get a Lunatic Gaze. That's just a recipe for a wipe right there. So absolutely need to make sure that you get all those Corruptor tentacles down, and the best way to do that is to kill all of them before you go into the brain room at the end of phase 2. And then just get any other ones that you see in the room as you come out to phase 3 and make those the highest priority. So it took me a while for sure to get the strategy down and get the method down. The biggest thing that I can really recommend is using a mouse to get the best control out of avoiding the laughing skulls inside the brain room. I think that once I did that, I started to see significant progress over my keyboard turning. And I don't know how common the keyboard turning is, but that's how I tend to do my playing. So anyway, there we go. That is Glory of the Ulduar Raider, 100% soloable by monks. Pretty exciting. So, thanks for listening, guys. Please rate, subscribe, and check out my website, envytheinsane.com. Thank you.